All right, I done messed this up about 15 times, so let's try this again. Part 2 to doing your belt was having somebody hold your clutch. Basically, you're gonna take 2 hands, pull as much force as you can onto this to retreat it all the way. Slap that belt in the back. Second pair of hands would be helpful so they can pull the belt all the way forward for you as you hold the clutch. Once you release the clutch and have this belt pulled forward, they can slap it onto the roller in between here. And that's prior to you put on this faceplate. You only need the back side of the variator and this roller, the spacer that goes in the middle right here. This is what your belt sits on basically. So you want to get that in there first and then go ahead and put on that front faceplate. Torque this to about 12 foot-pounds is what I think is safest so you don't break anything. And then just give it a little roll back and forth here. See how it rolls. Mine's a little tight, but it's beautiful. You can see everything's working. My whole bike's trying to move as I'm pulling that. That's crazy. Which is not, it's not overly tight either. I did mine actually looser than what's recommended. But that's it really. I don't really recommend reusing your old one. I mean, unless you're just replacing your belt. If you have a worn belt that you're replacing, it's probably not too bad. But if your belt broke like mine did, and you had pieces of belt just all stuck up in here and just, it was a mess in here, clean everything you can in here with brake cleaner and WD-40. Brake cleaner degreases everything. WD-40 gives you a little bit of lubricant in here so nothing gets too rusty. It's good for a couple days, but you know, I wouldn't leave it outside too long by itself. But as you can see, I can spin this variator and my belt's spinning beautifully. So I don't have no issues here. Spins beautiful. I rode around a little bit. It rode beautiful. A little more torquey than what it was with the new belt. Feels great because it's got that grip to it. Go ahead and take this cover here. Take our cover. You have a dowel. You also have this piece right here. I don't know what it's called, but whatever. That bar right here is the one that's gonna be a little pain in the ass. It needs to go in that slot right here. Your kickstart goes in this slot, and over here is the side for where your variator will sit. Now, if you notice, this also has points in here as well. So I don't know if those need to be lined. I don't think they do. As long as you get that nut to sit on the right, you get the dowel pin right here to sit correctly for the bottom one here. So that bottom dowel pin will sit there. That top dowel pin's over there. Just make sure we get everything sitting on it correctly. So we're gonna do it like this real quick. I'm gonna try to do this with one hand. I'm gonna half-ass do it. I don't have a gasket on, it's just an example. You want your gasket in there. But just for an example, if I have to show you, wiggle it back and forth a little. Let me see if I find a spot. Oh, look at that, that's perfect. Okay, found a spot to set you. So you have your dowel pins, you have your other piece in the middle that needs to line up. So get that back on there, give it a wiggle or two, give it some up and downs. You don't have to fight it too much. You just gotta give it some wiggles, see where it wants to sit. Mine sits better when I slap it a little bit. Get those little baby taps in there. Now, that's not all the way on by any means, but that's just a small example of what you'll look like basically. I just have a really fat gap right here. So part of that will be gasket. Part of that is me not having it aligned all the way because I'm not actually putting it on yet. I'm just doing this for an example here to show you what it looks like. Once you're done with that, all these little bolts here, slap them around wherever they belong here. They're all different sizes. I did not pull mine out in order. I recommend you pulling your stuff out in order. Getting a piece of cardboard, a little piece of cardboard like this. Mark each screw from 1 through whatever, 1 through 10 or 1 through 8, depending if you have a long or short motor, long or short block. Mine's a long block, so I have 10 screws here. So I would recommend writing 1 through 10 on here and keeping that in mind when you go to put these back. And you can just, after you draw your numbers in, you can punch these through the cardboard punch them through the cardboard till they stick out a little bit, and they'll stay there for you basically, so you have everything in order. It's an old mechanic trick I learned when I was younger, so I really like that trick. It's better than taking pictures or anything else, honestly, for me. But that's basically it, man. Put it all back together, and you guys are good to ride. Don't think too much about it. Don't stress it. And if it breaks, do it again. So there you go. Have fun on your own DIY journey.